Hey, hey, what's going on? Happy Wednesday to you. All right, we are here. I'm just going to give just a couple minutes for people to go ahead and see that we're on and to join in. I'm also going to share it on a couple of my pages. Hope everybody's having a fabulous Wednesday. It's a great day for me. All right, let's see. Sharing now. Welcome, welcome. Just sharing it to my page. You do the same if you would. Let's share this so we can get some people in here and engaged with us today. I'm not talking about marital engagement, even though we are going to talk about relationships today. But we want to see your interaction. We want you to talk back to us, to comment. Let us know you're here. All of that, I have a little cold, so I know I might sound a little raspy today. Follow our page, Wisdom Wednesdays with Razel Jones. Let me know where you're watching from. Love to hear that from you. Just sharing this to a couple other places to make sure that we are capitalizing on this wonderful tool of the web. All right, now let me share a couple more places and then I'm going to start talking to you. Thank you, Brother Thomas. How you doing? All right, let's see. Share this to the threshing floor. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. Let me know who's here. Let me know who's here. Talk back to me today. Just sharing to a couple pages. Hello, let me know you're here. Where are you watching from? Where are you tuning in from? Just going to talk to you just for a couple minutes today. Would love to know where you are checking us out from. All right, I think I got it shared everywhere. I think I got that handled. Cool. Just giving a couple minutes, maybe one more minute, and then I'll go ahead into the content for today. Thank you. I see you here. Glad to be with you today. It's a special day for me. It's my anniversary. I've been married to Camille for 15 years. It has gone super quick, very quickly. And we're excited today to be celebrating. Last week we celebrated. We went on our first cruise. We took a cruise to Cozumel, Mexico last week. Had a wonderful time. It was beautiful. Hey, Katisa, how you doing? Come on in. Welcome. We've been trying to celebrate this one big. 15 years. We know that's a big accomplishment. So we're excited about that and glad to be together and growing. And so I told you all today, in honor of our anniversary, I want to share some relationship wisdom with you. My first disclaimer, I am not perfect. I don't know what a perfect relationship is. I'm not at all attempting to profess that I'm some sort of a relationship guru. Relationships, particularly marriage, they're hard. It's hard. But I'm excited to be a part of Team Jones with Camille. And I feel extremely blessed to have reached 15 years of marriage with Camille. Yeah, I see you, Tisa. Marriage does rock. So we're excited about it. We love that we have a covenant, love that we have somebody to do life with together. And so I just want to share just a couple things today. as I know a few more people are still kind of coming on in, I want to talk to you a little bit. You probably saw some posts that I made earlier that had to do with relationships. And the first thing I want to say, especially for those of you who aren't married, when making a lifelong commitment, choose wisely. When making a lifelong commitment, choose wisely. It is a huge decision. I believe the most important part of having a successful marriage and a successful relationship is selecting or accepting the right person to be in relationship with. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but if you pick a loser, you're going to lose. You're not going to change someone or shape them into who you want them to ideally be. It doesn't really work like that. As a matter of fact, in marriage, people become more of who they already were, because the longer you're together, the more comfortable you become. So you let that guard down. You don't put on airs. You can be totally you. And that's the beauty of a marriage. But it's also something that makes it very real. My wife often says, Camille often says something that Maya Angelou said: believe what you see. Or how does it go? When people show you who they are, believe them. When people show you who they are, believe them. And I say, believe what you see, and be willing to walk away in the pre-commitment stages if necessary. Once you marry, you've made a lifetime commitment. So it's a little bit harder to walk away. I know people do it all the time, but it's a little more challenging. You're a little more entangled. When you walk away, it has a different impact post-commitment. But if you're just dating, I know you feel like you feel like you're committed, but it's not a real it's not a real commitment. You can walk away at any time, and sometimes you should, because if you begin to see patterns and trends that you know that you can't deal with for the long term while you're in the dating phase, it's only going to perpetuate. It's only going to get more magnified the longer you're together. All my married people say amen. It's going to get more magnified. The little things that bother you, they just grow. They grow. I know the married people in here believe me and know what I'm talking about. So you have to determine, am I willing to deal with these quirks even if they don't go away? Am I willing to stay even if they get worse, if they grow, if they perpetuate, if they magnify? Am I willing to, and can I deal with that or not? Determine that before you say I do and I will. Otherwise, you don't really even know what you're saying. I do and I will too. So yeah, when people show you who they really are, believe them the first time. Don't choose someone because they're the only available option or because you're lonely. A lot of times loneliness pushes us into some bad selection processes. And over again, people tell me I was better off by myself. So be selective. A lifetime is a long time. So the next thing I want to tell you is make each other better. Make each other better. The Bible says iron sharpens iron. That's over in Proverbs 27:17. It says, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Two should be better than one. But you have to learn how to make that that thing work. You have to learn how to develop complementary partnerships. You have to learn how to develop synergies. Complementary partnerships are where we are very different in how we see the world or how we do something. And so that can either be a positive or a negative. If it's a positive, then we use that to complement one another, and we become more well-rounded. In other words, you can do what I can't. I can do what you can't. And so when we are together, then we can do more as a unit. Again, in my marriage, we're Team Jones. Katisha and your husband, you all are Team Allen. So listen, that complementary partnership thing is very interesting because if it's used effectively, then it makes you better. But it also can be the source of conflict because I want to know, why do you do things so different than me? I don't like how you do it. This is the way I do it. I need you to do it the same way that I do it. And all of that stuff can turn either into conflict, or if you change your perspective and say, okay, cool, you do it different than me. So when we put it together, we're more well-rounded. We're seeing things from multiple perspectives. We have better vision together. We're better together. In the same way, the areas where we're the same, we can develop those things as synergies, where we become even stronger at the things that we're strong at. Or if we use them negatively, it can become a competitiveness. And competition isn't negative in and of itself. But like in a relationship fight, if I win, that means my wife loses. That's the kind of competitiveness that doesn't help us out in our marriage. So stop fighting your own team. Instead, find out, how can we flow together? How can we be more and more of the strong parts of who we are together? How can we complement each? How can we balance each other out to make sure that we don't go off the deep end in one direction or the other? Next thing I wanted to tell you is appreciate the little things. Appreciate the little things. Avoid entitlement. Entitlement is where you feel like people owe you something, or they have to do something for you. People don't have to do nice things for you. Not even your spouse. You have a spouse, not a servant. You have a spouse, not a slave. Your spouse doesn't have to be kind. Your spouse doesn't have to be patient. Now, should they? Yeah, it's going to be in both of your best interests if you both are. But we don't control other people. People don't have to do nice things for you. So don't begin to feel entitled. In a marriage, the two parties they should be committed to living for one another. So my actions are to fulfill you. Your actions are to fulfill me. It throws it out of balance if there's only one on the team that is living for the other, and then the other one isn't. Because then I'm just giving everything and you're not giving anything. And that's kind of what it sometimes begins to feel like in marriage, even if it's not the reality of what's going on. We often feel like we're getting the short end of the stick. But the job in a relationship, in a marriage relationship, is to keep on giving. Oh, boy. But you got to avoid entitlement. Oh, she going to take care of that. She going to clean that up. I don't even got to worry about it. I'm just going to leave a mess. Or he'll fix that. Don't even worry. Like, that's entitlement. Like, it's good that you have such trust that you can expect it. You can expect someone to do the right thing, but don't let your mind fall into this place that, oh, my spouse owes me this. No, that is kindness. That your spouse is exuding towards you. That is kindness. That is love. And so we both have to give that back and forth to one another on a daily basis. Keep the balance. Avoid entitlement, the trap of entitlement. And so the next slide that you saw me share online, it said energize, and it had an arrow for up, and it said criticize, and it had an arrow for down. It is better and more effective to energize your spouse than to criticize your spouse. Now I know I'm really stepping on some feet. I already see some ouches happening. It might get a little bit worse before it gets better. It's better and more effective to energize your spouse rather than to criticize your spouse. To energize your spouse, you do things that make them want to do things back. Tell them and show them. Oh, I could stop right there and somebody should just type that. Tell them and show them, because you need that combination. Tell them and show them how much you appreciate them. Tell them and show them how you aren't going to let anybody else treat them better than you're going to treat them. Tell them and show them how you feel about them. Your actions speak louder than your words. But when your actions can be in harmony with your words, then you got something going on. Positive reinforcement causes repeated positive behavior. I'm going to say that again because it's so important. Positive reinforcement causes repeated positive behavior. Criticism, on the other hand, causes repeated negative behavior. Why are you trying to talk to me like you my mama? Why you think you my daddy? Criticism doesn't correct behavior. Contrary to how we emotionally often feel, criticism makes you say, you know what, nobody gonna tell me what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it the way I'm gonna do it when I want to do it. I'm grown. I'm grown. But positive reinforcement causes repeated positive behavior. Criticism causes repeated negative behavior. So I'm not saying not to communicate how you feel when something doesn't sit well with you or when something bothers you, but there is a time and a place and a method. There's a time, a place, and a method for communicating those things that bother you effectively. And effectively is not just to get it off your chest, but it's in order to bring it into a place where it can transform behavior in the person that you're in relationship with. The time to do that is never when you're angry. It's not in front of other people. And it's not in a way where you're acting as if you're superior and they're inferior. When you have a habit of criticizing, your spouse will begin to block you out and push you away. But when you have a habit of energizing, your spouse will gravitate to you more and more and more, and they'll want to do things that make you smile. So in conclusion, and I'm about done, that's all I got for you today. I told you I'm not the guru. I just got a few things I wanted to share. In conclusion, good selection is critical. It's vital. Selecting someone that you can grow with, someone who can be patient with you and that you can be patient with is vital. Number two, make each other better. Work on those complementary partnerships and on those synergies. How can we make one another better? 3, appreciate the little things. Avoid the trap of entitlement. And 4, and finally, more energizing and less criticizing. These things will help you to keep on developing and growing in your relationship. I'm going to watch this back and play this back for myself. I'm a first partaker of this one. I want to make sure that I'm exercising these wisdom nuggets. Sometimes you know what to do, but then acting it out, playing it out, letting the behavior manifest in your relationship on a daily basis when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you're emotional, that's when it gets a little bit more challenging. But if we can just rehearse these thoughts in our minds, we know what to do. It's just a matter of doing what we know. And so I hope this has been helpful to you today. I appreciate my wife for being patient with me, for making me better. She does these things much better than I do. And so I feel very blessed and very fortunate to have a wonderful wife and to celebrate 15 years of marriage. It hasn't always been perfect. There's been some bumps in the road, but it's been a good marriage overall, and I'm thankful. And I hope you as well, whether you're married or whether you want to be married, whatever the case is, I hope that this can be valuable to you in your relationships so that you can make good decisions and experience a wonderful, phenomenal, scintillating, impeccable marriage and relationship. All right. Thank you for joining in to Wisdom Wednesday. Share this, check it out with other people, send it to your loved one. Maybe they need to hear this too. But rehearse it back, play it back. We'll make sure that it's live, and have a wonderful Wednesday.